Welcome to another episode of Be My Little General, the fast-paced game where you get to meet generals of the past and determine which one of them is best suited to lead your country to victory. Today we're going back to the Civil War and meeting generals from both the Union and the Confederate Army. And hopefully by the end of this episode you'll be able to tell one of them, I want you to be my little general. Let's get started. We're going to go straight to the winning side of the Union Army, and we're going to meet those generals that Lincoln chose to personally lead his army. Let's start with Winfield Scott. Winfield Scott, man, I hope if you like older guys, this is the dude for you. Because let me tell you, Winfield Scott was in his mid-60s, but this is no slouch. He was a hero of the Mexican-American War and created the Anaconda Plan, the plan that would hopefully lead the Union to victory. While it didn't, it was a great plan. If Winfield doesn't meet your needs, maybe this general does. This is Irwin McDowell, and Irwin McDowell replaced Winfield Scott. But unfortunately, he didn't have the best of records when it came to battles. He lost the first battle of the Bull Run, so Lincoln thought it was time for him to vamoose as well. But that's okay. Waiting in the wings, we have George McClellan, probably one of the best military statisticians and planners in the country at the time. The only problem is, ladies, if you like a perfectionist, this is the general for you, because McClellan would do nothing unless every single condition was perfect. In fact, between you and me, Lincoln actually asked McClellan one day, bro, if you're not using the army, do you mind if I do? Well, maybe McClellan's not your little general. What about this guy, Ambrose Burnside? I know what you're focused on. Those pork chops right there. Well, maybe his commanding skills don't apply to you, but what do you know? This guy is famous for giving us the term sideburns. Man, that's a topic for Christmas parties, isn't it? Alright, well maybe facial hair is not something that you want to see in your commanding general. What about this guy here, Joseph Hooker? I don't know much about him as a soldier, but I can tell you about his pastime. See, Joseph Hooker was rumored to kind of like the ladies of the evening. Hence, that's where they get their name. Hooker. Get it? All right. Maybe not, but let's talk about another one. Maybe you want someone a little bit more mature. How about George Meade? George Meade had great success at Gettysburg. It was just after that things didn't look too good. But if you focus on the positive, he might be your little general. No? All right, what? He's back? Well, let's go back to this guy here. Old George McClellan. Again, I guess he really wants to be your little general. Unfortunately, he just doesn't get the job done the second time around either. And he gets fired once again by Lincoln. That's when Lincoln's like, what are we going to do? And that's when this guy comes around. This might be your little general. This is Ulysses S. Grant. Now, Grant was an incredible leader, and he actually does eventually lead the Union to a victory in the Civil War. He did have a bit of a drinking problem. He was a functional alcoholic, but not everybody can be perfect, right? So those are your Union generals, but maybe, just maybe, you want to find your general on the other side. So let's go look at some of the Confederate generals, and maybe they can be your little general. Let's start with this guy. Oh yeah, Stonewall Jackson. Got his nickname from his soldiers when they said in the face of battle he stood there like a stone wall. Didn't even flinch when the bullets were flying by. Could he be your little general? You might want to consider him. Unfortunately, he was killed by friendly fire by accident just before the Battle of Gettysburg, but it was believed that if he had been at Gettysburg, the Confederacy could have won that battle, and that could have changed everything. But if a stone wall is not what you're looking for, honestly, not much personality probably with that kind of name. How about this guy? This is James Longstreet. Now, he doesn't have a lot on his resume that I can share with you right now except for this. This dude right here was the best man at Ulysses S. Grant's wedding. That's right. He served as the best man at Grant's wedding. He was his best friend. They served in the army side by side, leading up to the Civil War. It kind of captures what was going on during this war. You had people on both sides, brothers, cousins, best friends, fighting against each other. James Longstreet is one of those guys. And then there's always the dark side of Be My Little General. Let me introduce you to Nathan Bedford Forrest. Now that name might not sound familiar unless you've seen the movie Forrest Gump, but just in case you haven't, Nathan Bedford Forrest was one of these generals who wasn't too happy with the outcome of the Civil War, especially when the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment are going to be passed. For those of you who might not be familiar, the 13th Amendment freed the slaves, the 14th Amendment gave them citizenship, and the 15th Amendment, this is the part he didn't like, gave freedmen the right to vote. And so Forrest went off and formed his own little army to terrorize the freedmen and try to prevent them from voting. You might know it as the Ku Klux Klan. Probably not your little general. And then finally, Robert E. Lee. Robert E. Lee was wanted by both sides. A lot of people wanted him to be their general. In fact, Abraham Lincoln went to him first. But in a letter of resignation that Lee wrote to Lincoln, he said that he could not fight for the Union because he needed to stand by his native Virginia. Now, he never said that he was going to fight for Virginia in his resignation, but we all know that's what he did. So there you have it. The choice now is yours. Who is going to be your little general? Thanks for watching.